And
So
some
wait, so
that
what is
do.
what does a dystopian socialist future look like?
It'll look like the Soviet Union, but it'll take place on this continent instead of in East Asia. They want to make us like Russia, like the Soviet Union was, and you know,
Wait, who's they?
Democrats. Democrats don't realize that they've been co-opted by socialism.
Well,
By the
all right,
socialists.
hold on, because in the 60s, Russia did co-opt a lot of liberal movements.
Yes, it did.
And I mean, Russia's always tried to co-opt our stuff.
Okay.
But now, they targeted the Democrats,
Yes.
and you know they fucked with our election to the extent they could, which was a pretty great extent. And
I don't know. I think nobody's really sure what they did, to be honest with you on that one.
well, they
And I think if you think you know, I think you're probably wrong. I think nobody's completely informed
Well, we're
on
gonna-
what they were up to.
we're going to find out over the next year or so more and more about what they did.
Okay.
And
But that's not really my point. For example, I don't know if I mentioned this in another conversation, but it was recently revealed that they spent over $1 billion, when $1 billion was worth something, to convince people like yourself that the Vietnam War couldn't be won. And so we lost the Vietnam War because the American people were demoralized. And then they got your buddy Obama elected, who lost the Iraq War.
all right, now we're not talking about the future. Now
Well,
we're
no,
talking
but-
about
but-
you're bringing in more conservative talking points.
No, these aren't conservative talking points. This is what I've observed. I saw it happen in front of my eyes.
There's still
Which are open,
there's
unlike your
still
own.
conservative talking points.
Well,
where
no, actually, I don't know a single liberal that gives a flying fuck that we lost the Iraq War.
well, we're,
Conservatives don't bring it up. Nobody says a word. You don't care. No one in your family, none of your Democrat friends shed a single tear over all those people that were killed in Iraq because you lost the war.
all right,
now-
hold
now,
on.
when I
That's
talk about a
hold on.
dystopian future-
Hold on. Let's stop the bullshit where it is, which is one reason 100,000 or more Iraqis died is that, well, A, we went in there, and B, once we were in there and we made the government fall, there was no post-government plan in place. There was just optimism that we'd be hit with flowers and embraced. And they fired all the Baathists from the military, and then a lot of those guys go and they reform as Islamic militants. So yeah, maybe Obama pulled troops out prematurely, but all the dying wasn't on Obama's shoulders. It was, or you can get all irate, but if you we went into the war, we went in there on false pretenses, and then we didn't have a plan. This is all under Bush for after the regime falls.
We did have a plan, my friend. We were going to leave an army there to make sure they all behaved themselves. Except Democrats didn't like it.
You know, you're
They
cherry
wanted to make
picking
sure we would
facts.
lose.
There was a bunch of shit, a bunch of lack of planning.
It didn't require planning. Anybody with 1% IQ would understand. We've just wiped out a country. You leave your army there until they've settled themselves. If it takes 20 years, we still have an army in South Korea. We've got an army.
Oh, also you said that
we still have army bases in Japan. We have an army in Germany.
All right, so maybe we pulled people out prematurely, but
Maybe.
100 and probably 200,000 Iraqis had already died by that point. It's not like they all died after Obama lowered the troop levels. And the troops are back over there. And
Because you lost. We had to send them back. You lost a war.
There are like seven.
You have to understand, you can disagree with me about whether it was a good idea to have the war. You can disagree. You can say maybe we shouldn't have. But once we won the war, it was our responsibility to keep the peace over there. And Democrats are natural saboteurs. They want the United States to lose, so they did militarily something unthinkable and pulled out every last soldier so the country would collapse.
I probably should mention that the agreement to leave was under Bush.
It doesn't matter. They should have ignored the agreement. In 2011, Obama had a choice. He could leave a base there and continue the peace that had been established.
All right, when did the war start? 2003?
Or 4.
Or 4?
Yeah.
All right, so from 2004 to 2011, a shitload of Iraqis died.
Yeah,
More Iraqis died during
talking
that
about
period than from 2011 to 2016.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah,
my
but
friend.
you should look it up. 'Cause
I don't need to look it up. Hundreds of thousands of people died from 11 to 16 because of the Democrats.
not hundreds of thousands,
Yes,
and more
yes.
than 100,000 died from 04 to 11.
If that's not important, though.
But why isn't it? You guys...
Because that was a legitimate war. And
No, it was a war started... You cherry pick,
Hillary Clinton voted for it.
and everybody regretted it.
I didn't regret it. Half of the country thought that we were doing the right thing. Most of the country thought we were doing the right thing. And the point is, once the army was there was only one thing that could happen if you pulled those troops out. Hundreds of thousands of people would be killed. Everyone in the country
All right, we've
knew
staked out
that.
our positions.
Everyone knew that.
All right,
except
okay,
for you guys,
let's
except for Democrats.
All right, so we've staked out
So
our position.
you allowed it to happen, and you don't own it. You keep saying, well, it's Bush's fault. What about Bush? Screw Bush. In 2011, 100,000 people's lives were at stake on your decision, and you decided to pull those troops out and let them all die. Inevitably.
All right, those are our positions on that. But you said that liberals don't care about what goes on over there, which is horse crap.
Then why didn't you send troops back and save those people?
Troops are back. Not so many because we
Because you wanted to make sure a lot more people would die. You wanted to make it slow.
Obama flew 15,000 bombing sorties on ISIS.
He waited until they'd been established. Do you know what ISIS did? Let me explain to you how ISIS did it.
I
Briefly.
don't want to argue about fucking ISIS. I want to move back to the future because it always turns into this shit, and people are sick of this shit.